Hi, I am Eliza Joyce Hortelano, and today we're talking about Grigor Samsa and the story The Metamorphosis that is written by Franz Kafka. So, every one of us has a distinct opinion of life. We have our own perspective about life and how important this life is. But in some circumstances, the challenge of the validity of our opinion and perspective that can change our life into upside down because life is full of uncertainties. Life is unpredictable. So the main character of the story Metamorphosis is Grigor Samsa. Grigor lived with his mother, father, younger and his younger sister in a two-story apartment. Grigor was working as a traveling salesman in a company. He is a sole breadwinner in the family. He had to take care of the family's expenses due to his father's business loss. So this was Grigor's family situation. So everything is doing well. Until one day, Grigor woke up and felt an unusual pain in his body. Maybe Grigor thought it was due to excessive work that he had undergone for the past few days. So he decided to take some rest and catch up the next train for work. However, by the time Grigor noticed the unusual changes in his body, that his human figure was metamorphosized into a giant insect. A boy who is the only income earner has become a bug. His transformation made him anxious by the horrors of the future. He started thinking of losing his job, knowing this, but his family might fear him. At first, Grigor thought it was like a nightmare, but later on he realized it wasn't a dream. And by the time the chief clerk had arrived from Grigor's office to check and see about Grigor's absence towards in his work, the chief clerk insisted to visit Grigor at his apartment. Yet, in the room, that was not Grigor as he thought of, only the giant insect. And when he saw Grigor's state, the chief clerk panicked and ran away from Grigor's apartment. Grigor's family were shocked. His father's reaction was pernicious. Anger has been drawn into his face. He drove Grigor away back into his room with a stick in his hand. And after the struggle, Grigor were able to get back to his room with a few wounds in his body. You see, Grigor's situation was arising with pity and full of sadness due to his state. Within the walls, Grigor had to live with his instinct body, but his memory, feelings remains. What a pity. But despite of his current state, he doesn't lose his hope. He believed that everything was temporary and he think he can go back to his normal figure, normal living. However, the hope that he always held into turned into vain. And then he started to lose his human memory, his experiences slowly changing and started making the insect habits. Grigor's sister Grit had taken care of him in his changed physique, like giving food and managing his room. And meanwhile, Grigor's family situation had started worse, more specifically financial. And the family members had decided to find a job to fund the family expenses. As Grigor's situation see no changes, so the family members had to take care of him, not otherwise. Now, Grigor's family were making plans in that consideration they had given to Grigor and how Grigor might felt about the changes about his family's behavior and treatment to him. So one evening, the cleaning lady leaves Grigor's room open. while the boarders lounge about the living room. The boarders, who initially seemed interested in Grigor's sister, grow bored with her performance. So while playing the violin, Grigor creeps out of his bedroom to listen. And one of the boarders spots Grigor and they become alarmed. Grigor's father tries to shove the boarders back into the rooms, but the three men protest and announce that they will move out immediately without paying rent because of this disgusting condition in the apartment. Grit tells her parents that they must get rid of Grigor or they will all be ruined. So Grigor does in fact understand and slowly moves back to his bedroom. There, determined to rid his family of his presence, Grigor dies. And upon discovering Grigor's death, the family feels a great sense of relief. Alas, Grigor is dead. I empathy Grigor about the feeling of sadness, isolation, loneliness, and the cruelty of monotonous life. No, through the character of Grigor Samsa made us something undescribable. That carrying the burden of the family, studies, jobs, earning money, that constantly controlling us. These things are getting bigger and bigger. Aren't these things control our lives? So this novel in different ways has opened different path of our thoughts. The thought about this novel may not match with you, or maybe I'm wrong. But after reading the book, this is my only thought. To think we used to have someone have a job in a family that runs in a family, so there was something respectable person going on, and suddenly in one snap he or she loses the job. How long will the family members stay by his side or her side? And will be there no shortage of respect that can be having in a family where these person don't have his job or her job? And to think who was metamorphosized, if it's Grigor's transformation or the attitude that changed Grigor's family in handling Grigor's situation. So these feeling haunted me to the end. Samsa, Grigor's sudden death of a bug at the end, that too in the hands of her father, such a situation almost broke me. In different circumstances, he always had his own sister by his side, but his sister was once discussed with him. So the man once had everything in the family, now made the family members go crazy. So let me end this with a famous quote in the novel of Franz Kafka, The Metamorphosis. I cannot make you understand. I cannot make anyone understand what is happening inside me. I cannot even explain it to myself. So it is somewhat an unspoken truth. So I hope you have a very memorable takeaway in the Franz Kafka's novels, The Metamorphosis. And that will be all. Thank you.